What's up, everybody? It's your boy Cameron Abbott, the unsexiest comedian that you know and the man whose face was built for radio. I'm here today with my good friend and co-founder of Knotty Gamers podcast, or knottygamers.com in general, actually, Chandler Duggar.
Hey guys, how's it doing?
It's a doing good. It's a doing good. So we had a bunch of technical difficulties at the beginning of this. Mostly, actually, less technical difficulties and more of personal difficulties with myself. I was not very clear about things, and you left your phone in the other room, and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Clearly our first, hangout live cast clearly is not going as perfect as we'd like it to go, but nonetheless, it's where it's at right now. So, let's go ahead and just kick things off. This is, of course, the SPoilercast of The Division. The Division, while not a story-heavy based game, we are going to be talking a lot about details about the story of The Division as well as gameplay aspects of it. So if you want to come into it surprised, this is your warning, letting you know you do not want to be here for this. However, we are going to be breaking down a lot of The Division as far as, last I checked, I was 24 and you were 28, right, Chandler?
Yeah, I'm about halfway to 29. Level
29. So. I'm almost 25 as well. So
right.
we're pretty much towards end game as far as that. I actually we'll get into this later. You and I have had varied experiences with The Division.
Yeah.
All positive though. So
yeah.
Not spoilers here, and this is after this point. The spoilers are going to go. We both really like the game.
Yeah.
That's the non-spoiler version of
right.
this. We're both really like the game. If you like third-person shooters, if you like, MMO lights like Destiny, and you were looking for something a little bit more reality-based, this is the game for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So pick it up, try it out. It's a fantastic game. Highly suggest it. Now, this is your warning. We are now in spoiler territory.
Spoiler mode activate.
Yeah, spoiler mode activate. Form of an internet troll who's going to spoil everything for you. So
right.
There you go. All right, so to kick things off, let me put my glasses on. All right, so we're going to kick things off. So Chandler, you and I both played the beta.
Yeah. As
anybody who's listened to the previous episodes knows, we talked about it ad nauseum.
Right.
The beta. So beta versus live game experience. How do you feel about that?
I feel like, I don't know. It definitely the finished product is something that's obviously way more polished. There's way more to do. I feel like the beta was just. I felt it was too limited. You couldn't really expand into any of the tech trees or anything like that. You got like the med shot and then the
radar.
What was it? Yeah, and that was it for the first beta, and then for the second beta they let you have a turret. So
first beta, all three basic skills for each tree.
Right.
Only secondary skill was the med pack.
Right.
And then
exactly.
The second beta was the turret.
Right. But as far as how they compare like one versus the other, other than content being locked out, I feel like besides some of the like UI changes that they've made, it's essentially it's the same thing, from a performance wise, other than, like I said, the UI tweaks. Like one specific thing that I noticed was the appearance. If you pull up the inventory and go to the appearance, where you change your code or whatever, that was completely different from the beta. And I think it's changed for the better.
For sure.
But obviously the finished product is great. We're, like you said, we're both loving it. So
yeah, no, I'm having the time of my life. It's really an amazing game because, and a few other tweaks they did is that population wise, as far as enemies go, a lot more enemies roaming the streets.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more people just being around. That's really a lot more fun. It makes it feel like before in the beta it was nice because it's like, oh, New York's like empty. That's so weird.
Right.
But then now you have a pretty populated New York, but that like the devastation is there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The people you run into, like I can't tell you. I have fun where when people are like looters are like trying to like fight over goods. So like a water bottle. I come up and I point my gun at both of them, and I get them right away. It's like I solved that problem.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So.
I'm the hero of the story.
Right.
But live game experience as far as it goes. First day or two, kind of a few hiccups, but overall pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the EU has actually had a lot of connection issues as far as like server overloads, like people having a hard time getting onto the servers.
Okay.
Not uncommon though, like especially for like European servers.
Right.
As far as MMOs go, like this is everybody's like, yo, man, we got booted out. Da da da. It's like, have you ever been on an MMO day one? Because that's what this is. This is MMO.
Right. Right. Exactly. I personally haven't been experiencing any real connection issues, but that's because I play at the wee hours of the morning when I have time, and there's like 5 people online. So I think I've been booted once, but that's because they were taking the servers down for maintenance. So
see, I've been booted twice. Once where they brought it down for maintenance, and once that one time that I was grouped with you and Jeremy.
Oh,
where,
right.
Where I got booted, I got a connection error. But apparently that was happening to a lot of people at that same exact moment. So I was like, all right.
Right.
A lot of people were having the connection issue. A lot of people bounced back on. Because I got on right afterwards. I was like, oh, I got back on. And then I played till they shut down the server for maintenance. And I was like, oh, server maintenance, what's the deal with that? It's like, are you kidding me? Day one MMO, people. And it's only for like a 2-hour window. You're lucky.
Exactly.
Jeez. Anyway, so moving on. So something that I actually wanted, that I somewhat hinted at and touched on when we started talking about this in our different play experiences. Chandler, as you know, in this so in the beta, I was all about that Dark Zone, baby. I was there. I was living in it. I was like, this is my home. This is my, like, you have entered my home. Now I will kill you for your loot.
Right.
I was straight up murdering people.
Right.
And so that I had a lot of fun doing that. I haven't not stepped into the Dark Zone once.
Right. And I keep wondering why you haven't done it yet. But from my experience, so I went into the Dark Zone around level 8, just to go in there and kind of see what would happen. Basically, I wasn't really expecting to get anything, and I didn't. But in about 30 minutes, I got to Dark Zone rank 8, which I thought was pretty cool because basically I wasn't really going in there for loot. I was basically just going in there to raise my Dark Zone level, which I accomplished. I happened to grab some loot one time, and then some guy just turned around and just ruined my face, But I think the key to the Dark Zone is just go with a group. If you go with a group, you're fine. So
yeah, a lot of people are actually like posting online videos of like solo routes that you can do to farm.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing that, but really it's the idea of a group pack mentality, because if you're solo in there, it's dangerous. And that's really been the number one reason I haven't gone in, is because I haven't had a group to go with me. Not that I couldn't, wrangle one up. I definitely could. Sure. But there is a certain level of expectation for me. I want to go in there top level. I want to burn through as many Dark Zone levels as I can. And just have fun with that. So because of that, I hold off. Also, the Dark Zone, I feel, is like, that's going to be my end game content. That's where I'm going to have the meat and potatoes of my end game content. Sure. And I don't want to, dip my toes in it before I'm ready. Because I'm coming up on there's only 3 or 4 more districts that I can go into, which is weird because I did not realize just how massive this was going to be. Right. It is enormous. I was like, oh man, I finished up all going up further north. I'm further north now. Oh, I tapped it out. I guess what am I going to do now?
Then there's the entire east side.
Entire east side of the map. It's like,
I did the same thing. Yeah.
And you just kind of carve your way around, and it's been a blast. I've had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So the breakdown now of the story. So we're going to talk a bit about the story. So of course, for anybody who doesn't understand, the story is, and I'm sure you understand, because if you're at this point, you've definitely played the game, or you don't care about getting spoiled. In that case, let me spoil you. Basically, a scientist created a variation of a smallpox virus. that removed all of its limitations, the stuff that kind of makes it okay for the smallpox virus to exist, and we have immunizations against it. They basically eliminated that. They retrofitted it, and they made it so that it would spread very quickly and just be an absolute terror, just murder people.
Yeah.
They started off in like the largest department store in New York City, where they sabotaged the credit card machine, so people had to start using cash more often, which they call it the green virus or the green plague. And so it transferred from dollar bills, $20 bills, people to people, person to person, and then eventually spread to all their loved ones very quickly.
Right.
And so a lot of people are like, well, most people don't even use cash for Black Friday. It's like, it doesn't matter, because where this happened, ground zero, they forced them to use cash, and then it spread out from there.
Right.
So I'm still working my way through the story. Are you done with the story yet?
No, there's still some more. I have a few more districts like you do that I'm working on. But I mean, I have almost all of my my wings unlocked. I'm on 90% on the the 90% on the tech and like 80% on medical, and I have security maxed out. So
Nice.
I've done a lot of the missions, the ones that like give you like the 500 credits or whatever for the particular field or whatever. So
right, I've been doing a lot of those as well. But you just had a little bit more time in the game than me.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I love the matchmaking system in the game. Works well enough.
Yeah.
So you're never like, oh, I want to do this on, like, I haven't done a single one where I haven't done it on hard mode, which is something they let you get from the outset. You don't have to beat the mission first to get into hard mode.
Right.
Which is something nice because it lets you really like challenge yourself early on in the game. Which is something I love. I love that. I love the entire idea of that. The way they make sure enemies are challenging no matter what, no matter like the level split.
Right. Yeah.
They make sure every enemy that you're going up against is challenging for you. Just really great stuff. But
I will say this about the matchmaking though. I grouped up with a friend of mine that was actually level 30. I joined his world. We started a mission and everything was level 30 and I was like level 22 at the time.
That's the thing. They have to join your world. You have to make sure that, so the way, for people who don't understand, the way it works out is that each NPC is actually dependent, their level is dependent upon your level.
Right. Yeah.
So that way the challenge is always there in the game. You can't go back to your old stomping grounds and just murder everybody. They keep it challenging that way. So when you have that phased, your world is phased in that way. So everything is caught up at that level. Now, when you join somebody else's world, like in a matchmaking scenario, you're hopping to their phased world.
Yeah.
So their enemies are at their level.
Right.
Now, if you bring somebody of a higher level into your world,
right, it's a different story.
Yeah, it's a different story. You're going to get the reverse effect on that. So that is something that you do have to watch out for if you are playing the Division and you have friends that are a higher level and they want to help level you up. Make sure they join your world and not the other way around, because you'll just die.
Yeah.
Miserably.
We did the police academy on hard.
Oh no.
And I was just like, have some med kits, That was like all I did the whole time.
That one is such a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So it was fun though. And then we also had a full group as well. So on top of him being, everything being level 30, with the more people that are in the squad, the more enemies they throw at you. So
exactly.
Yeah, we were dying all over the place, but it was worth it. I got actually I think 2 purple gear and a purple mod, and then just a ton of blues. So, but yeah,
that's the way to do it, man. That is the way to do it. So that's something about the Division. It's very gear centric, which is fun. And the nice part is because your damage scales with you, it's not wholly dependent upon the weapon. Right. If you get a better weapon than what you have, but you hate using that weapon, you don't have to use it.
Right.
To make a difference. This is what I've learned because I keep on picking up assault rifles, and I hate assault rifles.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I got this really great purple item. Oh, it's an assault rifle.
Right. Well, the recoil is just nuts on them. For an assault rifle, it's way too much.
And it's just the accuracy is never there.
Right.
I waste an entire clip trying to mow somebody down, and I hit them maybe once. It's the worst.
And then you just flip around, just use your SMG, and it doesn't even move. So
exactly. Hopefully they'll retool that to make it calibrated a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because that's usually it's the flip thing around. Usually assault rifles are more accurate than SMGs.
Right.
So it's super weird that I'm using an SMG like an assault rifle.
Right. Yeah.
But basically what I'm maining right now is a marksman rifle, which is essentially a sniper rifle, as well as a SMG. And I have both of them have scopes on them. I'm set ready to go. I have a nice pistol that I use. It's actually a purple pistol. It's really nice.
Nice.
Actually, I think I recently upgraded from the purple pistol to a blue one that was just higher level and higher, had much better stats.
Right.
Because I crafted the purple one.
Gotcha.
And that's something I actually want to talk about, the crafting system.
Yeah.
Man, the crafting system's fun.
It is. Yeah, it's very it's essentially you don't even ever need to buy a piece of gear. You can just make it if you have the blueprint for it. So.
And you get blueprints for completing missions and encounters.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're already gaining an enormous amount of blueprints. I have so many blueprints.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Right,
but
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
the nice part about it. Like, you can craft your own armor. You get better blueprints as it goes on. I think I got my first purple blueprint at, level, 14 or 15. So it's
I think fun as well, yeah.
Yeah, so it was, a level 12 mission I got that from. It's a phenomenal game so far. So, from the story, I want to break that. I'm sorry. I want to hit something that The Division does not do well.
Okay.
And that's lack of character creation.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. My character, I ended up realizing, looks like one Colin Moriarty from Kinda Funny. Insanely looks like him, and I didn't realize it. I should have gotten, gauge earrings in just to, complete the match on
right.
some glasses. It would have looked perfect. But, there's no... You can choose the color.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Right.
You can choose a predetermined set of faces. I guess that's fine. And then but the hair. Let's talk about the hair for a second.
Right.
There's no selection when it comes to hair. My word. If there's Ubisoft, if you're listening, which I don't think they are at all, why would they listen to us? We're just the Knotty Gamers, just like one of this great podcasts out there that nobody listens to. I would say this. I think we're the best podcast that nobody knows about.
Right, exactly.
So, but Ubisoft, I know you're listening out there because you got my house tapped because I'm all in The Division, I'm all up in it. I'm like, bow, 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 bow.
Oh, gosh.
You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what I'm saying. But the lack of hair, please, Ubisoft, if oh, please listen. Your hair selections are garbage. They are worse than Fallout default hair selections. I want you to understand this. Bethesda does not do hair well.
Right.
At all. And you are worse. Not in the quality of the hair, but my word, give us some choices, people. There's no long hair options for anybody.
Yeah.
All the hair options for women make them look like they're butch.
Right. And there was even one that was one side came to an angle and the other one swooped down, and I did not understand what was even going on.
So terrible. And then it's there's not even the pixie cut. The pixie cut doesn't even look good.
Right.
Because the pixie cut doesn't look like a pixie cut. Poor Fei Lao. Poor Fei Lao. She's supposed to have a pixie cut to make her look kind of like a tough girl. But instead she looks like a man.
Right.
It's and the worst part is I see people in the game, NPCs, that have the hair options I want.
Right.
It's you had the assets. The assets were there, and you chose not to implement them anywhere. It's oh, gosh. Let me pay for them. I don't care at this point. I'm just so tired of the hair.
Right. Did you mess with any of the weird neck tattoos?
I look through them and I'm just like, why are all the tattoos on the neck?
Right. And like half of them were tribal tattoos?
Yeah, like what the hell? Or like, are we expecting half the division agents to be named Chad or Blake? Like, gosh. Tattoos didn't even make sense.
Right.
They're just weird tattoos. It's like, why would why would I, if I had like a blank canvas that was everything, would I just have like tattoos that just go up to here and just like look awful?
Right.
I can't, it hurts. Like it physically ails me to deal with that. So lack of like character creation. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But let's actually go into something about character creation. It's not character creation, but character customization that they do well. And we talked about a little bit about the clothing.
Right. Yeah.
Thank goodness that they finally solved the problem. And, the first people to kind of do it was actually BioWare with Star Wars: The Old Republic, where they allowed you to, like, choose, like, what piece of armor you wanted it to look like with, like, customizable stuff. But really the biggest part about this, and I'm loving this so much, is the fact that I get to, I can have as many clothing items as I want. It doesn't matter. It's just more unlocking customization options at that point. And the ability to just make your guy look the way you want him to look. You make the girl you want look the way they look, as far as their clothing is concerned, is amazing.
Right.
It gives you incentive to help out the civilians, because sometimes they'll drop like really sweet pieces of just clothing.
Right.
And it's so much fun to, like, I exchanged Uplay points, which I never use, because why would you use Uplay points, especially when you're playing on console? But I did it so I could get the broker outfit, and I had like that broker shirt on, and I loved it because it made me look like a badass, like a PMC kind of badass. Shirt, tie, vest, and then I had like my gear, and I was like, "This is awesome! I look awesome this way. I look like a professional. I look like I'm more CIA than I am military," which I dug a lot. And then, of course, I ended up getting a tactical hoodie, which had like little like pouches on the hoodie, and then a hood as well. I was like, this is it. Right here. And then I got a purple jacket.
Yes, your purple jacket.
And then I got another purple jacket. I have two purple jackets. Two.
Like and like blue jeans, I think is what you're running right now. Right?
Yeah. I'm rocking a hoodie, a purple fluff jacket, and some jeans and some boots.
Yeah.
Like I'm the working man's division agent. That's what I am. Oh man, actually, running back into story. So, are you digging the rogue agent that they have?
Yeah, really interesting.
Right? Yeah, like he's a total like nut job, but at the same time, he's like
kind of has a point, but at the same time, he's just crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome because they actually have this villain that is in there, that is in the world, and you don't know where he is. He's not is he pulling the strings? Is he not pulling the strings?
Right.
You don't know. You're slowly piecing together what happened. So to break down the story, you're actually part of the second wave of division agents activated. Mm-hmm. And the division is activated by an executive order, which basically says if the worst of the worst happens, if the line in the sand behind absolute chaos and bringing us back from the brink of destruction is there, that's the division. Division agents are regular citizens and civilians, or some of them are actually military too, I guess they could be. But the idea is basically this, that they are regular people who do regular things all the time. Mm-hmm. And they all wear the same watch, which you think, hey, where can I get that watch? Oh, you just have to join with the secret organization that I joined.
Right. Come drink this Kool-Aid.
Yeah, come drink the Kool-Aid. But, they all have the same watch, and it activates, letting them know that they've been activated.
Right.
And I'd like to think that everybody kind of has their own, like, cool watch that they have. Like, some dudes are, busting out, like, a massive Rolex. It's like, I got activated. I got to go. And it's like, bling, bling. I'd like to imagine that's what happened for some of them.
I get, sure. Why not, right?
Right? Yeah, because otherwise it's way too conspicuous. Everybody has, why do, three of my friends all have the same watch? And they never, use their watch.
Right.
like who wears a watch anyway? Like if you're not some like a business guy who's like it's an accessory for your suit, why wear one? But no, it's like the entire idea is basically like you have these regular people, so like the mailman, the milkman, the paper boy, you know, they're all division agents.
Right.
So basically it's your everyman soldier. They are highly trained, like basically the best of the best, but they've been secluded and put into a regular population to be activated as necessary. So they're essentially sleeper agents for the government, which is like Rhodes pointed out actually later in the story. He's like, do you know how like freaking scary it is that like we had sleeper agents
in our own country?
In our own country. He points that out and it's like, oh, hey, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that is like super scary. He's like, the government works because of balance. And he talks about like some super like patriotic stuff. I was like, yeah, it does. And he goes, and you violate all of that. And it's like, oh,
I'm the worst.
Right. And then Faye Lau's basically just like, yeah, you're right, but go for yourself. Hey, Faye, I know you're on like a ton of morphine for your effed up face.
Right.
And I still haven't forgiven you for cock blocking your sister, or for cock blocking me with your sister.
Oh gosh! Did
you ever hear me explain that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so one of the Echo missions that you get, like, so you get side missions in the division.
Yeah.
As you know, Chandler, and one of the division side missions, one of the first ones you get, is to find Faye Lau's sister.
Right.
And she's this cutie who plays the guitar, and you're trying to track her down, and it's like, oh hey. Fancy meeting you here. I just found you after you used a guitar to bash in a burglar's brains in.
Right.
It's totally cool. I'm here to help you. And she's like, oh, you're here fast because Faye Lau just was told her sister, hey, I'm sending some people to get you. And she's like, oh, you're here fast. And it's like, I am here fast. And then Faye Lau gets on the comm and says, hey, by the way, I sent other people to go do it. You need to leave now. And it's like, what? The deal, Faye. Heather and I
think she knew. I think she knew, and she just didn't want you to. Yeah.
my womanizing Colin Moriarty-esque character.
Right.
Definitely threw off like the sexual tension vibe. Faye Lau read the room and then immediately cock blocked me.
Right.
Come on, Faye Lau. But yeah, no, so like Faye Lau's already in, like, she's already in the books as like the bad.
Mm-hmm.
But now she's like even worse. It's like, don't say that to Rhodes. Rhodes got our power back on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how what I'm doing is accruing these points as currency that allow me to like unlock these facilities, but okay.
Right.
I don't understand how that works, but I'm okay with it.
Right.
I like that you get abilities and stuff based off of what you unlock.
Yeah.
Which is relying on missions. And I actually kind of like the limited abilities that you have. You can only use 2 at a time, and they're really fun in combinations. Yeah. Man, I had a blast. So when I was playing with, so for people who don't know, I played with Greg Miller on the Kind of Funny live stream where they basically, a bunch of people were just playing with Greg, had a lot of fun. I was part of a group, and I realized that the entire group had gone medic or tech. Mm-hmm. So either medic or tech, first aid, health station, whatever, or tech. And I was like, I should probably go tank then, right? And I'd never done tank before. So I have this riot shield, and holy crap is the riot shield awesome.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun because you just like whip it out. It's like,
right.
It's like, bah, 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 bah. It's amazing.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, absolutely. One of the my level 30 friend that I played with, he actually runs exclusively the riot shield and either like the med shot or seeker mine sometimes, or turret, depending on kind of where he's at. But his whole thing is just DPS health, and then he has all of these abilities and talents that, like, if he gets hit, or all of these abilities that just like heal him. So he is just up front in people's faces. And he typically runs a sawed-off for his sidearm. So he's like up in people's faces and just blasting them with a shotgun, dropping everybody, healing himself.
I didn't know that there was an option. Like, you could have a sawed-off as a sidearm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've actually gotten really good at, shooting people in the head with the pistol.
Yeah, the pistol just isn't quite there as the damage with like versus the shotgun. So
Yeah. That's totally understandable.
yeah.
Having a lot of fun though. I got really good with it, and then I found out you can bash people's faces in with it.
Yeah.
It actually takes a pretty large chunk of melee health out of them.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Man, and you're really in love with that Seeker Mine, aren't you?
I use it when I'm just kind of by myself. When I'm with a group, though, I don't really use it because it's not as great as I thought it was going to be. It kind of gets stuck places sometimes. So that's kind of the problem, and the pathfinding for it kind of sucks. Is that as soon as the enemy's in its range, that's when it triggers, and then the enemy's like, "Oh, I'm out," and then it doesn't do anything. So, but if you throw it and get it kind of like in the middle of a group, then it's more likely to do more damage. But
there you go. We'll talk a little bit more about that, like the bugs issues that we've been having.
Yeah.
You know, any kind of new MMO is always going to have bugs.
Right.
I think people have fallen through the world already. That's happened to people. Not surprised that happens.
Yeah.
I remember once I fell through the world playing DC Universe Online.
Oh, did you?
Like, yeah. The thing is, it was like, oh, it's okay. You just have to fly out. It's like, I'm not a flying character. I can't fly out. They're like, funny. Well, okay then.
Right.
Enjoy free falling for forever.
Right.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of cool things about I guess we're already deep into it in the immersion factors.
Yeah.
So a big part of Knotty Gamers in our review process is that we definitely talk a lot about the immersion factors of a game. The Division has it, like in spades. I'm there, I'm in the world, I'm interested. I care about saving hostages. Like normally I don't care about hostages really in a game. I care about saving these hostages. I care about, the people that I like. Oh, I'm in the building, I'm fighting up against these guys. The Last Man Battalion LMBs, I faced them in the police academy for the first time. Oh my gosh, I hated them. From the get-go, I hated them. The way they use the agent's tracking beacon to get you to come in, it's like, oh, man. And then Faye's like, I want you to keep investigating. There's no way this isn't a trap. Well, Faye, if it's a trap, don't send me in.
Give me some bigger guns then or something.
Faye, come on. Jeez, Faye. Gosh. Mark my words, if she makes the heel turn at the end and turns out she's the bad, like she's a rogue agent, bitch. Like, cannot stand that. But anyway, the immersion factors are there in the game. Now, something that I want to talk about is, let's actually move this up, but the bugs in the game, because we've touched on it before. There are definitely bugs in this game. There's movement issues. There's, the typical Ubisoft bug, which is I want to not move. I want to hide and crouch. Oh, but you're making me walk 5 feet away. Why?
Right.
It's like, come on, Ubisoft. Can you make a third-person game where that doesn't happen?
Right.
But it happens. A problem that I have is that the way NPCs will run into where you are crouching, and it's just and then it forces you out because you can't shoot people at that point. It's like NPCs, especially JTFs are the biggest jokes of NPCs ever.
Right.
I don't really think they do damage when they shoot things, so that sucks.
Yeah, I don't think so. They just take damage.
Yeah, they just take damage. They just soak up damage, and it's like, geez, I'm supposed to defend all you guys, and you guys suck.
Right. And then they take your cover.
It's like, jeez. So that's a bug issue that I see. I've seen like you said, it's where your Seeker Mine gets stuck on something.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a bug. That's a problem for people. Now I have issues with the turret sometimes where I'm trying to throw it, and instead of throwing it, it doesn't come out.
Oh,
but
really?
I use the skill for it. When I was using the shield, I was running into the issue where I'd pop the shield, and then the shield wouldn't come out.
I was running into an issue where I was trying to use the shield on that last mission that we did.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I was just activating it wrong, but as soon as I hit it, he would throw it away like he was done with it. And I'm
right? Yeah, no, that's what happened to me as well. It doesn't even fully expand. It just pulls it out. And it's like, no!
Right, and then you have to wait for the cooldown to happen, and you can't use it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just really cool. If anybody's curious, Chandler talked about how much he has done percentage-wise. I'm 90% done with medic. I'm 90% done with tech, and then I'm 70% done with security. So I just have to finish up those.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get like 900 to unlock the two that
You're working on
correlate with each other.
the ultimate ones, the 1,000-point upgrades.
Yeah, at this point, I'm working on those, on the two of them, the one that I'm 90% on. And then I have to, technically, I guess security, I have to do like 1,900, which sucks.
Right.
Because I only have like 350. It's like,
Right.
Definitely don't lack in encounters though. Like I'm loving the game so far. It's really great. Some of your favorite moments though.
Some of my favorite moments. Well, actually, when we got together, me and some other friends of mine, we went into the dark zone. So it was a full team, so 4 people.
Nice.
And we just wrecked, and we were in there for like, I don't know, 2-3 hours.
Nice.
We all got to the point where basically we couldn't extract anymore because our stash was full. So
that's an awesome problem to have.
Right, exactly. And then later on that same night, we did some more missions and stuff, and then it was just me and another person, and we went like deep into the dark zone. We were like dark zone level 5 area. And at the time I was like maybe level 20, and he was like maybe 23 or 24. Mm-hmm. Everybody was like, all the NPCs were like level 30, and then like all of them had grenade launchers and stuff, and they just one-shot us from like across the way, or whatever. So it was interesting to see that there's even more to that dark zone than what we saw in the beta, and then what we've just seen. If you just go into it or just start into it, going into like the level 1, 2, 3 areas. So
that's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm excited to get into the dark zone.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to try it out later at some point, but right now I'm just trying to, I don't know, the story just has me hooked. Like I really just want to find out what's happening. I want to play through more missions. I want to kind of dig through this story a little bit more.
Yeah.
Especially concerning this rogue agent. The one thing actually, and going back on issues that I have with the game, the one thing I wish that they had was I wish they had invested in a voice for the protagonist.
Yeah, so do I.
Because I hate how Fei Lao like just jumps into your conversations to actually answer questions. Rather than like revealing something about the character that you're playing.
Right.
It's a blank slate. I wish that you had been able to like. So this is what I would have done. Now I'm playing armchair game developer here. So that's already problem number 1. But what I would have done is I would have said, okay, so you're a regular person normally in your life in the division. That's cool. Let's build on that. What was your background? Are you just like education-wise? Like not even education-wise. But essentially you can lock it down to like 3 different personality types. Mm-hmm. You can do somber, like tough and gruff and
right.
Your typical kind of like and you don't have to go into like whatever his background is, but you can do that so that the voice you choose can kind of reflect that.
Sure.
You can have a kind of a laid back kind of a guy that's sarcastic and makes funny remarks.
Right.
You can have somebody like that, and then you could have somebody who's just just like super like optimistic, just like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll get this back on.
Right.
Your goody two shoes hero. That'd be a good personality type to have. Your Boy Scout, your Superman type guy.
Mm-hmm.
I dig that. Same thing with the women. Like you could do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I just wish they'd done that so you don't need to inject Fei Lao out of nowhere into some of these.
Right. Like, how did she climb up those stairs when you're talking to whatever? I forget the tech guy's name. When she's still on crutches. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like you should not be walking up these stairs.
And then she like walks around the room a little bit. It's like, what the hell, Faye?
Right. And then you see her after the conversation's done. You go back down the stairs and she like can't even move in her little cubicle.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it's bad. Like it's just it would have been better to have a voice attached to your person.
Yeah.
Because they always ask you like questions like the enemies do. They yell at you and I was like, how cool it would have been to have like some sort of banter back at them, depending on
right.
Or who cares? Just have a single voice who's like that. I don't care. Just give me something that gives a personality to it. Because right now I feel like I'm playing Master Chief, but worse because there's less even personality than that.
Right.
So it's hard. It's really that's the one part that I always struggle with is like I feel like I'm here in the world and then there's little things like that just like take me out immediately.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a Division agent. I should already know everything Faye's talking about. Maybe me as the person watching the cutscenes doesn't know this.
Sure.
But then let the person that I'm playing have that knowledge and then I find out something about the person that I'm playing. Like let this be a growth of experience of adventure and it's just not there, and I think that's a fault. That's a shortcoming that not anybody is talking about. It's a shortcoming I feel very strongly about because there is a really like good narrative throughout this game.
Yeah,
and I don't feel like they capitalize on it. And I feel like that's a problem with a lot of MMO lights. They just expect you to be the silent person that goes here, goes there, does this, does that.
Right.
But you can't do that anymore. Star Wars The Old Republic changed things. Destiny accepted that. Destiny, you had a voice per class that you chose, per gender per class.
Right.
So you had 9 voices total, or 6 voices total. Yeah, you had 6 voices total. Each gender for each one of the 3 classes in Destiny. That's big. Like, that's like, oh, and you have a little bit of a personality. Do that. People wanted more of that in Destiny. Take a cue from that because they're your predecessor. They're the guys who came out with this game that a lot of people had problems with. And it's clear Ubisoft has looked at it and said, okay, we need to delay however long they delayed it because of those, because of these same problems that they were probably going to run into. Right. And I'm glad that they did because it plays better. It's a better game than Destiny was. I don't know if it's a better game than Destiny is right now.
Right.
Like if you gave me the Taken King expansion and the Division at the same time, I'd have a hard choice.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to see what the Division because the Division has a lot of goodwill from me, and I don't know how you feel about that, but that's just how I feel.
I mean, I feel very very much the same way. I feel that the Division not only does it have a lot of potential to kind of be that kind of game that we're looking for in the kind of Destiny-esque gameplay style, if you want to even call it that, right?
Right.
But it still, falls short in some minor details here, like that immersion factor that you mentioned. I absolutely agree there. So.
Right. Yeah. No. The immersion factor has in spades. I'm in the world. I'm pulled in. They've got me. They've got me hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, and then just every once in a while, there's that kind of disconnect that happens, though. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I think the immersion is there. It could have been done better. So
yeah, some of my favorite moments I think were actually done like today. So talking with you yesterday, I left off at like what? I think I was like level 16,
something like that. Yeah,
and I'm level 24.
Yeah.
Today I blitzed through the Division today. I just sat down. I spent all day with it. I played through it. I love the Division. I put on like a podcast on in these headphones while I used an earbud for the PlayStation, and I just blazed through it. And I just had so much fun. I picked apart different things. I had just a blast. And I did it. I went I went 8 levels, and I went through like 4 districts just in doing this, and it was just fun. I teamed up with people. I teamed up with you. Like you helped me out with that last one we did. The
power plant. Yeah.
The power plant sucked. I hated it. The whole timed battle sucked.
Yeah.
Especially since we had that guy, and he was actually pretty helpful, but I felt like there was a disconnect there.
Yeah, that's true.
And I know he friended us out there. If you're watching, which if you are watching out there, know that I didn't accept your friend request because I just don't do that, especially since we can do in-group party chat if we need to.
which is something we should actually go back on as bugs. Sometimes the invoice stuff does not work.
Oh, or it sounds like super distant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a problem that is there. Gosh, I like the idea though that they have a like proximity chat though.
Yeah,
I think that's fun. Oh, and I don't think this part is a bug. It's actually kind of a feature, I suppose. But that could actually be a bug that they just call feature because that's game development.
Right.
It's when you're in like a more spacious facility.
The echo.
Yeah. But I actually like that. I was like, oh man, it feels like we're actually in here. This is
right.
So cool.
It was neat.
Yeah. I mean, if that's a bug, leave that bug because it's fun.
That's a cool.
Because I feel like that just added to the immersion level of it. Man, I've had just so much fun with it, especially today, just blazing through it, doing a bunch of missions, just being so dedicated to the cause, really connecting with the city, and just loving every moment of it. I hated all these rioters. I hated all these people because they're ruining the city. We're trying to save the city.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to save it, and they just won't let me.
Right. Yeah.
I'm loving it. I'm loving that aspect of the game. I really do feel like the savior of the city in a very normal way because I die all the time, so it's okay. So, man, I mean, gosh. Maybe another one of my favorite moments is the first night that we all were on together.
Yeah. When we tried to do that Times Square mission.
Oh, yeah.
You got booted.
I got booted. It sucked. But then you guys were like, by then we were already like, I was already level 12 and you guys were already, level 16.
I think I was 17. Yeah.
Yeah, you were 17. I think Jerry was 15 or 16. But I mean, I was like, that's first night. But there's so much content and it's not easy to get through because I definitely don't want to put that out there. This is not like a walk. It's not a walk in the park, but there's a degree of level of challenging. And this is really going into the gameplay of the game is there's a challenge factor of the game and the game pushes you to become better. When I was playing the mall mission, the Abel's mission, where you have like the giant Christmas tree on fire.
Yeah.
And I did that solo on hard mode because I was like, oh, I'm like 3 levels above it. It'll be fine. It was hard. It was so hard, but I became so much of a better player because of that experience. I learned how to adapt and not just hide behind the same piece of cover. Right. I learned how to hide from somebody who's like has a flamethrower that can reach across the entire level. Right. I learned how to deal with that, and it was just after I completed that mission, and then I teamed up with you, and we took on the boss of the cleaners. Yeah. I was not as good as I was then before that mission. I was much worse. But there's like something about it. Oh, that's another bug, actually. Fire going through concrete floors. Yeah. Fire going through anything, really. Through anything. Give us a break, Ubisoft. I am like below, like there's like 1.5 feet of like concrete between me and this flame. And the flame is like coming up in my face. It's like, give me a break. Still though, fun. I love, like a lot of the enemies are like kind of samey, but at the same time, I kind of like that. Right. Because they're generic, and I keep on killing the same Mohawk dude from the Rikers all the time, and I'm okay with that. The Alex from the Street Gang. You always kill Alex. You always kill Alex. Like poor Alex. Alex always dying, man. They got Alex. Another one? How many Alexes are in this game? Seriously, and how many of them am I murdering? I'm murdering all the Alexes. Like they're gonna give me a award. They're like, "Congratulations for saving New York." No, that's not my proudest achievement. It's not saving New York. It's killing everybody in New York named Alex. Tom Clancy's The Division. Kill every Alex edition. Like, that's what it feels like sometimes. Right. Good times, though. It is. It's an amazing game. It really is. Gosh. Yeah, so Chandler, I don't really have much more else to say about The Division. Do you? No. I mean, I think everybody should play it for sure. Definitely. Yeah. I will have to say, because of course, as I mentioned earlier on the podcast, for anybody listening out there, or watching, we are currently working on our review process. And I don't feel like we want to slap a number on something before we're really ready for it. But I will say that the verdict for me on this is just stellar. A stellar game. Give it a shot. If you don't think this is your bag, get it from a red box. Try it out. And if it's for you, buy the game. Because Ubisoft, when they came out with Watch Dogs was not good. Watch Dogs was not good. And they've had a hard time. I really feel like they've had a hard time. They got hit a little bit on Primal. People giving Primal some crap. Even though I haven't played Primal, it looks fun. Prehistoric Far Cry. Why not?
Right. Yeah.
But you also have, Assassin's Creed just not doing great. So they're not annualizing it anymore. Which is we talked about it in a previous episode. We think it's good that they're doing that. It's after Unity, people just kind of soured really after Unity, and they really expected a great game afterwards, and they got a good game. Not a great game, a good game. And that's the problem, is that people don't want Assassin's Creed that's a good game. They want an Assassin's Creed that's a great game. Yeah. So, Black Flag was a great game.
Yeah, man. Black Flag was great, yeah.
Even though it wasn't like so much Assassins as it was Pirates, I was okay with that.
Right.
Because they took my favorite part about Assassin's Creed 3, which was being on the boat in the sea, and made an entire game out of it. Perfect.
Right. Exactly.
And then I even had fun with the DLC where you play Onway, I think his name is Onway.
Oh yeah, the first mate guy.
The first mate, the former slave, and you're like freedom. It's Assassin's Creed Freedom's Cry.
Right.
A lot of fun. That one was a lot of fun because you just had like this machete that you just like murdered people with. It was like, yes. But you also couldn't like go certain places because you were black. I was like, oh man, this is racist. Right. It makes sense because of the time period. I know it's supposed to be racist. It's supposed to be racist because of the time frame.
Right.
But man, was it like, oh, I shouldn't have been here. Don't mind me. No, just great. Just great. So Ubisoft, I think, especially after Tom Clancy's Rainbow Siege 6, like, lukewarm reception, really fun game, but, kind of came and went like a fart in the wind.
Right.
Like, I have it. It's sitting the box is sitting right in front of me.
Yeah.
It hasn't been in my PS4 in months.
Right.
And by months, I mean, I think like 2 months because it came out in January.
No, it came out in November.
Oh, it came out in November. When did I pick it up? I think I picked it up in...
You might have picked it up in January.
I picked it up in January because it was on sale for like $30.
Yeah.
Which tells you something because it didn't come out that long ago and it's already like half off.
Right.
And apparently it's just come and gone like a fart in the wind, which is sad because it's an amazing game. It plays super well, but just it's not there for the people. And so for them to kind of knock it out of the park with a Division, I think it's good for them.
Yeah.
The people at Ubisoft, I covered on the solo cast that right now they're worried about a hostile takeover on the corporate side of things. So hopefully this will bring them some alkaline, kind of put some more money in their pocket that they don't have to worry about that's too much.
Right.
Wish the best out there for all the Ubisoft developers who worked so hard on this game. It's beautiful. It plays masterfully. Except when it doesn't. When it doesn't play masterfully, man, is it irritating.
Right.
Which I think goes to show just how good the game is, that if it's not working perfectly, you get super frustrated. So normally it works perfectly.
Right.
Cover system, I mean, this is one of the best cover system shooters I've ever played. I know people who play more TPS cover-based shooters will probably say, well, it's all right. I don't play a lot of them. And for me to be a guy that doesn't play a lot of them and actually doesn't really care for them too much, to be this into this game, into this fighting mechanic is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I can't speak highly enough of it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I've played cover shooters more than you, and I'd say the cover mechanics they work well for what the game's trying to do. I think the cover mechanic could probably be better, but it fits the game, so I don't think they should change it really at all. So,
all right, coming from a guy who knows way more about cover-based shooters than I do, so props to that. My extent, I think, is like playing like 30 minutes of Gears of War and the Mass Effect series. That's my experience of it.
Yeah.
Shooters. No. So I mean, those were our final thoughts on the division. Now comes to the fun part of, my favorite part of every podcast that we do.
Oh gosh.
And that's where I get to ask Chandler a question. And I make sure not to put it in the Google. Make sure not to put it in the Google Doc because you can see it.
Right.
All right, Chandler, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
If you could witness any event in the past, like the entirety of the past, what would you watch? Like, what would you witness?
Any event.
Mm-hmm. So you were there. By the way, you were there witnessing it. So you were like living there, standing there, watching it, witnessing it happen. And we'll forego any of like the time travelers paradox stuff.
Sure.
We're like, oh, you're wearing weird clothes. Like none of that. Just you're there to witness it. People don't really notice you. You have like but you're there. Like you're physically there for it. So what would it be?
That's kind of a hard question. I'd say, well, I think I'd like to see the, what is it called? The library at Alexandria. Greek, Roman history stuff like that. It's awesome to me. So, that whole time period, really anything from that time period, I'd like to see. So.
Oh, do you like to see the great, like the 8 cities called Alexandria?
Yeah.
But heads up, Macedonians aren't necessarily Greeks.
That's true.
But yeah, no, I feel you. That's actually a really unique answer. I did not know what to expect. That's why I asked the question.
Sure.
But I love that was your answer. I've also been fascinated by the Great Library of Alexandria. So I think it's very cool. Just the idea that, the Great Fire lost all the world's records up to that point.
Right.
Like, man, great tragedies in human history. Outside of just the brutality of, the loss of life that occurred back then, but losing all of that, losing all that knowledge, losing all that history, losing everything, records, books, literature, art pieces, gone.
Yeah.
It's very similar to the Great Chicago Fire that occurred, where like basically all Chicago just went up in flames, and the Great Museum of Chicago, which was, a wonder unto itself, lost. Bits and pieces are still, they have them in the new museum now, but the Great Chicago Fire just destroyed history.
Yeah.
And it's very saddening. But that is very cool. A very cool answer. Normally this would be the segment where I'm like, oh yeah, we got mail or anything from that, but we didn't get any. Mostly because I didn't really ask for any, because, kind of running a bit behind on things, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Trying to get this together due to, everything that happened. The shenanigans that normally come to it with us. If the naughty gamers are involved, the likelihood of shenanigans are high.
Exactly.
So, I mean, nobody comes here to listen to the perfect podcast. I mean, why would you? Why would you come to us for the perfect podcast? Besides the fact that we're perfect. So, this is the greatest unknown podcast of all time.
Exactly.
And you guys are going to be listening to this episode later on when we are well known. And you guys are going to be like, oh, well, that's interesting. It's like, well, we're not as good now because you know about us at that point. So it definitely can't be as good.
Right.
So I'm Cameron Abbott. I'm the unsexiest comedian that you know, and the man whose face
I see what
was built for radio. So bet you wish you hadn't watched the podcast. Man, no, but and once again, I've been joined by my friend, my co-founder of this business venture, Chandler Duggar.
Yeah, it's been fun. So.
Yep. Next time we do one of these, either he'll have a webcam or we'll both be in the same room, which was the original intention.
Right.
So, but it's okay, because still love you. The fans won't love you anymore.
They won't love me anymore?
Yeah, no.
Until you get my video.
Yeah, until you get video up and running on this, right?
Fair enough, I suppose.
This guy.
Right.
I guess it's like this guy because you're like right here on my screen. So it's like This guy. What can you do about him? Anyway, so we're the Knotty Gamers, and hope you enjoyed the podcast. This was, of course, episode 7 of the Knotty Gamers podcast, the Division SPoilercast. And this is, of course, Sunday, March 13th, 2016. We're the Knotty Gamers. Play on.